Imagine you're wearing a backpack. Not a trendy little day pack, but a massive hiking rucksack. And inside, it's not filled with snacks or water, it's full of rocks. Every time someone cuts you off in traffic, you pick up a rock and drop it in. Every time you stress over an email from your boss, another rock goes in. Now, imagine hiking in that backpack for 8 hours in the pouring rain. Sounds exhausting, right? But the funny thing is, most of us do exactly that every single day, right inside our own heads. We hold on to things so tightly, as if the world would stop spinning if we let go. If your shoulders are feeling a little heavy right now, this story is for you. Find a comfortable seat, drop your shoulders, and if you're a fan of stories that lighten the soul, go ahead and hit that like button. Think of it as a way to start shedding that weight. Our story begins on a rainy day in old Japan. Two Zen monks are making their way back to their monastery. The first is Tanzan, an older monk. He's the kind of guy who radiates peace. He's calm, he smiles a lot, and it seems like no rule in the world could ruffle his feathers. The second is Aikido, a much younger monk. Aikido is the personification of by the book. Think of that friend who always reminds you not to walk on the grass or fixes a crooked picture on the wall. To Aikido, rules are everything. He knows the precepts by heart. Don't eat after noon, don't gossip, and, most importantly, absolutely no contact with women. They're walking in silence. The rain is coming down in sheets, turning the dirt road into a river of thick, black mud. As they round a bend, they hit a snag. A massive puddle blocks the path, ankle deep and too wide to jump over. Standing right at the edge is a young woman. She's beautiful, dressed in an expensive silk kimono. She's clearly in a bind. She's hovering there, looking down at her dainty sandals and then back at the mud. If she steps in, that gorgeous kimono is ruined. She looks helpless, like she's on the verge of tears. Aikido, our serious young monk, immediately goes into defensive mode. He marches right past her, eyes locked forward, face like stone. He keeps his distance. In his head, sirens are going off. Warning, woman, precept number 3, stay away, don't look, don't touch. He splashes through the mud, reaches the other side, and stands there waiting, feeling very proud of his purity. But Tanzan is different. The old monk stops. He looks at the girl, gives her a kind smile, and says simply, "Come on, I'll help you." Before Aikido can even gasp in shock, Tanzan scoops her up, carries her on his back through the mud, and sets her down gently on the dry ground on the other side. The girl bows deeply in gratitude and heads off toward town. Tanzan brushes off his hands, adjusts his muddy robes, and keeps walking like nothing happened. But for Aikido, the world has just ended. Can you imagine his face? His eyes are wide, his skin is flushing red. His mind is a nuclear explosion of judgment. What did he just do? He's a monk. He just touched a girl. He carried her. Where are the rules? Where is the discipline? How could he do that right in front of me? Is he not ashamed? Aikido wants to scream. He wants to interrogate Tanzan right then and there. But because they are observing a vow of silence on the journey, he can't say a word. And so, Aikido's personal highway to hell begins. They keep walking. 1 mile passes. Tanzan is strolling along, admiring the raindrops on the leaves, even humming a little tune. He looks as light as a cloud. But Aikido? He's carrying a volcano inside. Every step he takes slams into the ground. Thud, thud, thud. 2 miles pass. Aikido's irritation turns into full-blown rage. He starts rehearsing the argument in his head. When we get back, I'm telling the abbot. Tanzan needs to be disciplined. How can someone be so careless? He's tainted. Have you ever been there? When someone does something that bugs you, and you spend the whole afternoon arguing with them. In your own head, you imagine what you'll say, how they'll talk back, and exactly how you're going to win. If you see yourself in poor Aikido, let me know in the comments. We've all been there. 3 miles pass. The sun starts to set, their stomachs are growling, their legs are aching. But Aikido doesn't feel hungry or tired. He only feels the weight of his anger. The image of Tanzan carrying that girl is on a loop in his brain like a broken film strip. He scrutinizes every detail, the way Tanzan smiled, the way the girl's arms were around his neck. The more he thinks about it, the more unacceptable it becomes. They walk for 5 hours, 5 hours of mental torture that Aikido has built for himself. He doesn't see the beautiful sunset. He doesn't hear the evening birds. All he sees is the scandal at the puddle. Finally, as darkness falls and they see the lights of the temple, Aikido can't take it anymore. He's like a balloon that's been overinflated. He just pops. Right at the temple gates, Aikido blocks Tanzan's path. He's huffing, his face is beet red, and his finger is shaking as he points at the old monk. "I can't stay silent anymore," Aikido yells. "Why? Why did you do it?" Tanzan stops and looks at his young companion with genuine confusion. Do what? That innocent question is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Aikido screams, "You know exactly what. That girl. We are monks. We took a vow not to touch women. And yet, you carried her on your back. You held her. You broke the most sacred rule. How can you act like nothing happened?" Tanzan blinks. He looks at Aikido's face, twisted with pain and anger. He looks at the young man's shoulders, hunched and stiff. A gentle, knowing smile spreads across Tanzan's face. He taps Aikido on the shoulder and says, in a voice as soft but resonant as a temple bell, "Oh, brother, I set that girl down by the river 5 hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" It's like a bucket of ice water to the face. Aikido stands there, frozen. In that moment, he realizes a shocking truth. Tanzan was the one who did the deed. He carried the girl. He made the physical contact. But the moment he set her down, he let her go completely. He left the action, the girl, and the mud behind him, 15 miles back. His mind had been empty and free all afternoon. But Aikido? He never touched the girl. Physically, he was clean, but mentally, he had been carrying her, along with his judgment, his anger, and his resentment, for 5 straight hours. He had carried her through the woods, across the streams, and through every heavy step, all the way to this gate. Tanzan's burden lasted a minute. Aikido's burden lasted all day and poisoned his soul. Who was the one who actually broke the vow of purity? Who was the one truly attached? Aikido looks at the old monk, then looks at himself. His rage vanishes, replaced by a quiet shame and a massive realization. He lets out a long, shaky breath, the breath he'd been holding all afternoon. His shoulders drop. That invisible backpack full of judgment and rocks finally hits the floor. For the first time all day, Aikido actually sees Tanzan, not as a rule breaker, but as a mirror reflecting his own cluttered mind. They bow to each other and walk through the gates together. That night, I bet Aikido had the best sleep of his life, because he finally learned how to put it down. The story ends there. A river, 2 monks, and a choice. You see, the past is like that muddy puddle. The event already happened. The hurtful words were said. The mistake was made. But whether we continue to carry it for another hour, a day, or a year, that is entirely up to us. Sometimes we pride ourselves on being right, like Aikido, but clinging to that rightness and that judgment makes us heavier than anyone else. Peace doesn't come from avoiding the puddles of life. It comes from the ability to walk through them, help if needed, and most importantly, put it down when it's over. Right now, I want you to check your backpack. Is there a girl, a puddle, or a comment you've been carrying since this morning? Or maybe since last year? If there is, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine yourself gently setting that burden down by the side of the road. Leave it there. You don't need it for the next part of your journey. Thank you for sharing these quiet moments with me. If this story helped you feel even a little bit lighter, share it with a friend who might need to put something down today. Have a light, beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next story.